All right, let's group all the Judgment Day stuff together. I'll hit everything that they did on the show. Priest comes out, loved how he walked out. He did the opposite of someone else who had a bad night at SummerSlam, and I'll get to that. Walked out, big pop. They wanted to see him. He's power walking. He's pissed. Total babyface promo. Talks about family, says, and this was the difference. This is Priest clearly leaning into being a babyface. This is all my family now. Pandering a little, but you know what? It worked, and they're with him. He's acknowledging something that he can hear. Those people didn't have my back. These people have been with me. They've seen everything I've done. Ups and downs. His documentary came out. They're going with him. They're totally going with him. Damian Priest has been a favorite of Triple H from the jump. When Damian Priest came up to Monday Night Raw, when he debuted in that Rumble, and then basically didn't lose a match for a year, and they had him tag with Bad Bunny and all that dude was over. And then they tried to do that like split personality thing, which had Vince and Bruce Pritchard's fingerprints all over it, and it was like, oh, wait, he snapped, and the angel and devil on it sucked. He was over. Some old dude didn't think he was over enough or whatever. Priest was over, and was over at a time when it wasn't easy to get over. And they didn't handle it that well the first time. The dude didn't lose for like a year. He lost like a handicap tag with Miz and Morrison when they did the zombie thing. That's it. He didn't lose. He won the U.S. title and all those things, and it kind of just sputtered out. That guy last night took the big step forward in the last couple of weeks, and the reaction he got last night multiple times is a star-making reaction. He has grown in leaps and bounds since we saw him as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor, since he started at the Monster Factory, since he weighed 300 and something pounds. Like, that guy's done everything you could possibly want to do. And is now, here's a good example. He's got the machine behind him. Look at every piece of the presentation of Priest in the last month. The way Gunther cut him down to get babyface sympathy for him. Where he didn't want help or he wanted to win things on his own. Having the interview segment that they did with him, walking around New York. The documentary to debuting it and selling tickets to go show that and putting Rhea there and putting Dom there and having, Punk show up at it. These are all things that the company is going to get fully behind. Some babyface, just get presented well on TV. This feels like a marketing plan. This feels like Priest has met with the right people, and I will tell you, when people would come to Stanford, some of them, not everybody, would get to go to headquarters and go talk to the right people. Hey, you're getting the full run around here today. Jade Cargill did it. There's a picture of her within like a couple of weeks of her signing, of her meeting with everybody, her meeting with the social team, her meeting with marketing, her meeting with creative services. Certain people got to do that. Certain people got that love. I am sure that Damian Priest has that level of the machine behind him. And it's working. Finn appears from the back. I love that they tied it back to last year. I should have won the title. This didn't happen. You told me to blah, blah, blah. Holding up the picture. And what did Finn say? No leaders. And he put it in a way where he made Priest out to be an asshole when he's not. It was a very heel way to say, well, you were the champ and you thought you were the man. No, he always had everybody's back. Finn didn't like being in the shadow. Finn felt disrespected. So the leader idea did come up, and he reveals himself, and there's Carlito, and there's Liv and Dom and JD. Okay, there's the group. Finn basically seems like he said he's the leader of that group because he's going to cut those promos. Carlito ain't cutting those promos. I'll get to the JD one in a second. Liv and Dom are a different entity. It is Finn's group now. And as I said yesterday, And go back and look at some of the promos he cut in New Japan when he started Bullet Club. He is a bad motherfucker. And when he wants to be mean and biting and an asshole, God, is he good at it. He can be just downright evil. And he's got all the confidence in the world. I don't know how I feel about how dangerous that group is as a whole. I think they need a little bit more. But Finn at the front cutting those promos is exactly what it should be. So they didn't do the big boo segment with Liv and Dom. It's the only thing I would have changed, and maybe it wouldn't have fit last night. I want to see that. That's all. I just want to see that. Here's my only weird thing with the timeline. You have Priest cut that promo, and he goes back and forth in front of the live crowd. He goes back and forth, not back and forth, but he cuts his promo, then Finn cuts his, and Finn's like, I'm not coming to get you now. I'll get you when I want to get you. And then they show pre-tapes with JD and Priest, and it made it seem like almost like they were done after, or it was odd that they have Priest cut that promo going after Judgment Day, and then they show pre-taped promos with JD and Priest after that. It just seemed like they were at that would have been something you put on next week's show or whatever. It seemed a little off. It was the timeline was just weird. It's like, hey, we need you to go get fired up to face JD McDonough tonight after you just spoke to the live crowd. I didn't totally get that, but not a big deal. Getting to the match. Priest, super over again. What I noticed he did is something that, I don't want to say he took it from Edge or it's homage to Edge, came out, went to the sides of the crowd right near the entrance, and did this, and did. He's playing to everybody, and they're with him. And there's a big difference when you do that and they're with you, and you do that and they don't react. And that happened to somebody else later on in the show. We'll get to that. Finn lied, still attacks. He said, I'll get to you when I want to get to you. And I'm going, all right, he's going to pick a spot. And Finn runs in, and then it's boom, 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 boom. And Priest kind of fights him off. I love that when they fought, when Priest fights him off, he called him the Punisher. And I don't know if they can use that because of copyrights, but it was a nice throwback to Punishment Martinez. But also when he said it, I was like, oh, that's a good name. He should be the Punisher. They should always go with that. And he's fighting everybody off, and then, Liv's there by herself, and here comes Rhea, and that pop was massive. And she came to the ring a little slow, and then picked it up, and I was surprised as much as they got on Judgment Day, but they didn't get everything. They saved, there was two Razor's Edges that could have happened. Both didn't happen, so you leave the crowd still wanting to see that moment. I just wrote down, wow, they nailed this. Just listen to the crowd the whole time. They are so with it. They love Rhea. They love Priest. You know who they took down? They took down JD McDonough. That's fine. They got enough to establish that these two are family, the Terror Twins. And you know what? You can have a male-female pair, and there doesn't have to be romance. This is two badasses who consider themselves family because they are good friends, because they've come up together, and now their former friends, their former family are their enemies, and they don't have to go their separate ways. They should have each other's back, and they can still do what they need to do. Home run, grand slam. Someone actually put in my comments, I talked about the Cody Roman thing, who the number one babyface is. Someone's like, it's Rhea. Listen, there's at least an argument to be made. That's how over she is. And Priest is on his way up and going higher. And they absolutely have something in this. Now, Vince just said, do the Judgment Day need a heavy to replace DP? I think they do. I think it would help them. Because basically you have Carlito and JD there to kind of just take bumps, and Dom's not going to be a threat to anybody. We know that. He's going to get a shit ton of heat because he's with Liv, and Liv can only take bumps to the women, and Finn needs to be the leader, so you don't want get him to get beat up too much. They could use somebody bigger. Yeah. They need, and I don't think if it's Judgment Day 2.0 or they're going to remain as Judgment Day or whatever, I don't think they have to be as dark. Not that they were like ever spooky, but they were more dark. Maybe this new group is not about that. There's no clubhouse. There's no purple, black, or they're just assholes that felt like they were wronged by two people who were clearly the stars of the group.